Okay. Good afternoon to our audience today. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to BrighterBee Live Learning X Career for today's sessions. My name is Pacha, or you can call me Thai. I will be the host for the event today. And as usual, BrighterBee usually hosts an event like this, featuring different leading company in Thailand, giving opportunity to our audience to learn more about the business and the service that they have available for clients, and also career opportunity in each of those companies. And as for today, it is such a great honor for us to have the event for today with NIELSENIQ or NIQ, the world leading consumer intelligence company. And we have with us today two distinguished guests. The first one is Kun Chinta Angkoon. She is the executive director of IMS country leaders of NIELSENIQ Thailand. And also we have Kun Harris. He is the HRBP or business partner leaders in NIELSENIQ Thailand as well. And before we go into the discussion today, let me briefly introduce the overall structure of the discussion today. We will divide into 4 sections. First, we will let Kun Chinta introduce you to the world of NIELSENIQ. What is it exactly is the consumer intelligence company? What are the services available for your clients, which is in various industries? And in the second section, I'll let Kun Harris talk about the life of employee at NIELSENIQ. What is it like? How fun it is to work with Nielsen? And then in the third section, we will hear from Kun Chinta herself about her career story from the beginning up until she become the country leaders. And finally, Kun Harris will talk about the career opportunity that we have available at NIELSENIQ. And as usual, before we start the discussion, everyone online can send us questions to ask the two guests. And at the end of the session, we will set aside some time for Q&A so that you can answer the questions directly to the audience. So let's start the discussion today. Please welcome to Kun Chinta and Kun Harris to the event today. And the first question will go to Kun Chinta first. Can you tell us about Nielsen? Because as I understand from the discussion earlier, today will mark the 100th anniversary for NIELSENIQ. With such a long history, briefly tell us what is it like for the consumer intelligence company? What do you have for your client? Yeah.
Thank you, Havita. Actually, it's a privilege to be here as well. So thank you for having us. If talking about NIELSENIQ, as you mentioned, we have a couple of slides to put up. We're a century-old already company because we first founded since 1923, right? Basically, what we do, we work primarily with consumer goods retailers and manufacturers. But not only that, we also have extensive work collaboration with different sectors, being financial institute, being automotive, and other non-CPG sectors. So I think, simply put, let's just put a video just so that it provides a holistic view of what NIELSENIQ is really doing.
Okay.
We are NIQ, the world's consumer intelligence company. For retailers and brands, we deliver the full view, the most complete and clear understanding of consumer buying behaviour. With NIQ, you know what is happening, why it is happening, and what to do about it. You can understand how consumers shop, where they buy, what they buy, how much, how often, and so much more. The full view expands your understanding of what consumers care about, how they think about you, your competitors, and everything from the global economy to everyday convenience. The full view shapes your next strategic choice about target marketing, adjusting prices, launching promotions, altering assortments, or innovating your product line. With the full view and NIQ, you'll know what is happening everywhere, why, and have the confidence to take action. We are the world's consumer intelligence company, and we deliver you the full view. NIQ.
Okay. So This is just to, the video probably speaks it all. So if I'm to put in a more simpler term, this is a slide that kind of like highlight what we do and what we give to our clients. Simply put, we provide data and insights to our clients because we believe these are essential for their, in order for them to make a sensible business decision for their business growth. How we're doing that, we actually collect the data, we process the data from different sources, being, the data from retailers, modern trade, traditional trade, the data from e-platform, and also other consumer source of data as well. And then with all of this, we leverage our proprietary products and technology in order to provide an easy to use kind of solution to the clients. So at the end of the day, as a user or as our clients, they can leverage those insights and make a sound judgment, make a proper decision to run the business because we also aim for clients' growth as well at the same time, right? So if I'm to put up the next slide, just to highlight a couple of like fun facts or key stats.
Okay.
Globally, you can see that we measure over 72 million products on a monthly basis, right? We have cooperation or collaboration with e-retailers, over 250 e-tailers worldwide, right? We also receive the scan data, over 640,000 store scan data on a monthly basis. We also have the store visit, over 350,000 store per month, right? More importantly, as what we talked about, we're now a century years old and we have over 100 countries, have our presence in more than 100 countries. And that's a proud moment for every one of us, actually. So if we are to put it into a roadmap like this, when we're talking about a footprints or presence in over 100 countries, we're looking at about 30,000 associates worldwide, right? And for Thailand alone, I think we used to start off with, ever since DMAR, and we first become AC Nielsen's back in 1993. So that's over almost 3 decades already.
That was the time I joined.
Exactly.
The first time I joined.
That's where we met and where we knew each other ever since.
Right.
And to date, we have about over 300 employees. We have a very good mix of diversity in terms of the gender. I'm not just talking about biological gender, but also gender identity, right? We also have a mix of generations and also in terms of the nationality mix, because we have about 10%, if not mistaken, of associates who are foreigners working with us full time here in NIELSENIQ, Thailand, right? So I think that's one to say that we can leverage, our global footprint. And the good thing about it, or you can say it's an advantage, because we can provide our clients a big data at a very big scale worldwide. At the same time, we provide granularity in terms of the insight as well, because leveraging the local knowledge. Okay? So that's the beauty of NIELSENIQ, I would say. And we also live up to, our core value, which shape who we are today. Just to simply put, we have integrity. So basically, we are honored, we are honest and trusted by our clients. We also hold on to responsibility. You deliver, you're accountable, or do what you say you will be doing, right? And also, last but not least, passion, because we believe that this will help us get there and even drive for a bigger things that you never imagined you could. So these are just 3 core values that we inherited. Not only that, we also demonstrate 8 key behavior in everything we do, because these 8 character or behaviors would shape the winning culture in our organization. Being think like our customer, we know exactly what our clients want or what they've been through, what they're facing, in order for you to be able to suggest the solutions that are appropriate and help their business grow. Know our business. You have to know what we're capable of. We have a very wide variety or suites of solutions to provide to the client, right? We can help the client answer lots of business questions, such as how am I performing versus competitor? What is my current market share? How are my pricing and promotional activities affect my performance? How loyal are my customer to my brand? So all these are key questions that we can help address, right? So we have to know our business so that we can help our client. Also, the third one is to be inclusive and help others. So I think these are core, right? We have diversity, We have people from different backgrounds. So these are the things that we want to make sure that we encourage people to feel inclusive and share more thoughts, voice out their opinion, right? The fourth one is to be honest and transparent in everything we do, internally to client, or as a team, as a company, right? Also, the fifth character or the fifth behavior that we inherited in our people and associates is keep our words, right? You do what you're committed to do. You deliver the commitment. And the sixth one is to take ownership of what we do, be accountable for the decision you make, the choice or the action that you do, make things better. That's also the seventh character that we promoting internally. And last but not least, be courageous and aim high, right? You never know how much more you can do unless you talk to yourself that just aim high, try harder, be better. A beautiful thing or initiative will come through from there. So these are generally the behavior for our winning culture in the organization.
Okay. I think we get the pictures of what it's like in terms of the business of Nielsen, and also in terms of product services that you have available for your client, and also the culture, the behavior, the expected behavior once you join Nielsen. These are all the traits that we look for from all the candidates. Next, I would like to go to another question for Kun Harris. If I get a chance to join NIELSENIQ Thailand, what will my life be like? Would you please summarize that in easy way for the potential candidate that watching this event to understand?
Sure. Thanks, Kuntoy. You know what? I feel I just know that you're also ex-Nielsen, right? So it feel like it always feel excited to meet ex-Nielsen, and then we have strong alumni outside. I think you mentioned also earlier, right? You still have a connection with all of the ex-Nielsen, right? So that's kind of the story that we want to bring, for our employee. If we see, right, from the perspective itself, when the company. So as Tinta mentioned earlier, right? So we have our values and behavior, integrity, responsibility, patience, right? And those 8 behaviors. So basically, those principles are basically to help our employee for them to grow their career and then have a successful story in NIELSENIQ, right? And our company goal itself is to make sure and to help our clients success and grow. But before we do that, right, we need to have a strong foundations, which is our employee itself, right? We want to make sure our employee can grow the career. We want to make sure our employee have good well-being in NIELSENIQ. We also want our employee to feel happy, right? And then at the end of the day, we also wanted that our employee, they'll be able to create their own success story while they're working in NIELSENIQ, right? So that's actually our promise to our employee, right? And this is not just the promise to the employee, but also for our future employee as well, right? So that's kind of the experience that we really wanted to actually to share to our employee itself, right? There are 3 components basically. If we can show the slide, right? So there are 3 components. First is we want to make sure that our employees stay engaged. We want to make sure that our employee can perform every day at their base, and definitely they can grow their career, right? So I think if you reflect back then, Kunto, right? So when you have recruiter reaching out to you, explain the role to you, right? So you already get the amazing experience from our recruiter, right? So as the candidate, right? So, and even now, we are helping our candidate to prepare for their interview with the hiring manager, right? So that kind of the experience, the support that we want to bring at the first place, right? And then also, when you get the job, support from day one with the structure onboarding, meeting with your manager, get to know your team, and then not only that, right? Not only your day one, your first 30 days, your first week of your company journey in NIELSENIQ, right? But beyond that, so you will be getting a support throughout your journey at NIELSENIQ.
I remember that when I first joined the company, since we have the interviewing process, I got kind of know that what kind of job I will go into, because we have to do some analysis and do some presentations to the senior. that who involved in the interviewing process. And then once I joined the company, the one unique things that make Nielsen different from other is the training program that I will have to go through because in the first week, lots of training was provided to me so that I can hit the ground running right away after that. So that is one unique difference that I see that is different from other company I joined later on. So that is one thing that will help the employee engage since the beginning. I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, right. And you know what? As the global company, as Cinta mentioned earlier, right, we also wanted to make sure that we have the diversity and inclusions culture that we have. You know, in for Thailand itself, we have more than 5 nationalities, right? In terms of diversity, we have about 60% actually female in terms of the gender, right? So that are actually that we want to bring the diverse culture where the employee can be themselves, you know. And then we also have our employee resource group. We call it as the NIQERGs, which I will share more later on, right? So those kind of the culture that we want to bring to our employee itself, right? And on top of that, you know, being the global company, right? Our focus is also for our employee well-being, right? So we want our employee to be happy. You know, we want our employee that they got the support that they need, right? Especially, you know, now Nielsen IQ in, I think in the global level, right? We are actually using the hybrid mode currently, where we allow our employee to actually they can work from home, they can work from anywhere. But you know, if you're based in Thailand, at least you will need to stay in Thailand, right? So what we call like so, but we also still encourage our employee to come to the office to have the people interactions. You know, for example, when you have one-on-one meeting with your manager, right? Or when you are about to start the project, or when you want to brainstorm, right? So those kind of like the interaction that we want to maintain. So whenever they spend time in the office, they have something that they will do in the office. That's we call as the workplace with purpose, right? And then if we go to the next one, right, we want stay engaged. We also want our employee to perform, right? So in our culture as the company, we really have the high performing culture, right? So at the beginning of the year, I think you still remember, Kunte, right? With your manager, you have one-on-one and align with your goals, very clear goals, right? And what I think personally is very benefit for me is, you know, the power of the feedback. You know, you will be getting the feedback not only about your performance, but also you'll be getting the feedback in terms of how you grow your career, how you can improve on certain skill, A, B, C, D, for example, right? And then we also have a strong culture in terms of the recognitions, you know. So we have one global site where you can recognize people, any people. You can recognize your manager, you can recognize your colleagues. Maybe you work in the regional project, your colleague based in Korea, for example, right? You can say thank you to them directly, right? So that's the culture that we really wanted to have in the company itself, right? And then definitely, I think you mentioned very clear, right? Since day one, you already need to complete the training and so,
Right.
right? So now we have one global learning access where you can access all of the global learning resources about that, right? So we also have the Great Manager Lab. This is the program to really equip our people manager to be the good manager, to be the great manager, right? So those are actually that we wanted to bring to our employee, right? Those are the experience. And also at the end of the day, when you stay engaged, when you perform at your best, we want you to grow your career as well, right? We have the talent and global and regional talent development program. For example, now we have regional talent development program. We have about 5 people from Thailand who represent and who participate in that program, right? And then we also have the global mentoring program, right? Where actually you can find your mentor not only within the Thailand, but you can expand your in terms of the geography as well, right? And definitely, you know, again, we are actually really preparing and we really equip our people manager or leader to be a great manager, right? So our leader can you know leading the highly engaged teams, right? So this is basically that the opportunity for our employee to learn from and to work with the uh, great manager itself. Last but not least, this is very important. I think we discussed earlier, right, before the live session. The opportunity for you to progress your career in Nielsen IQ, right? So internal mobility. Last year we have one associate, Thailand. He did the short-term assignment in Nielsen IQ Philippines in our regional center in Philippines, right? I think he just returned last month, but next month we will have also our associate from Philippines will do the short-term assignment in NIQ Thailand, right? So she will spend about 3 months in Thailand just to learn and also to learn more about the business itself. So those are the experience. And at the end of the day, our goal is, we want our employee to create their own success story while they're working in Nielsen IQ.
So if you are the one who like to expose to international environment, Nielsen IQ would be a good fit for you.
For sure.
Okay. So next question, so with Kun Harris, would you be able to elaborate more about the diversities and inclusivity at Nielsen IQ?
Yeah, I think we really commit basically in terms of, I think I mentioned earlier, right, in terms of bring the diverse and inclusive culture in a sense, especially for Nielsen IQ Thailand, right? So in the global level itself, we are launching actually about 9 employee resource group, right? This is the community or the group where our employee, they can freely to join, they can freely to become themselves, right? So for example, we have Pride here. This is for our colleagues who are actually in the LGBTQ and with the allies. We also have women in Nielsen IQ as well. We also have Mosaic if you have the interest to learn multicultural and so on and so forth, right? So in global level, we actually, this employee resource group, we have about in 85 countries, more than 80 countries. The member is more than 30,000 member. And then in each country, we also have the inclusion and impact team, right? This team really drive the sustainability, volunteering activities, that we have also as a part of the diversity and inclusions, right? So basically, we want to build a community where our employee can be themselves, right? That they can promote this culture as well. They can become the allies of those kind of the group, and also we can drive the community. We can create the impact as well, right?
What are the example of activity that you do in like one of these group? Can you give us some example?
Sure. So for example, on the Pride itself, right? So we have, I think this is something that we just launched about 3 years ago, right? So now basically we also include LGBT partner as the part of our insurance as well. So for those who have spouse, right, so they can actually enroll as part of the company insurance. On top of that, in the global level, right, we also have, we call it People and Planet Day, where on that day, we will ask our employee to stop working for a while and go out and then be a volunteer, right? And another example, about the woman in Nielsen, right? In Nielsen IQ, for example, we have Chinta here with us, right? So that's kind of the diversity that actually we really encourage, we really strive for that, to make sure that we have a strong community and to promote this culture.
Okay, got it. Would you like to elaborate a little bit more about the inclusivities and also the culture within Nielsen as well?
Yeah. So in terms of generation itself, right? In Thailand itself, especially for NIQ Thailand, if you see, right, more than 80% actually Gen X and Gen Y. But then Gen Y and Gen Z, I cannot remember, right? So it means that we more than 80% of our employees are very young people, very energetic,
Right.
While at the same time we also have I'm not saying all generations, but I'm saying that the Gen
More
X
senior.
generations, right? More senior people, right? So that's kind of that we want to make sure they can blend together. We can learn each other. We have, for example, in when we have a new hire, right? We have a chat with Chinta, for example. So we invite our new hire to have a chat with our set leader here, right? So just to make sure that there's a connections, build a connection in a sense like they can blend also with our company culture.
Just to add on that, I think it's about reverse mentoring as well. It's not just about you learn from your supervisor, your senior leaders. At the same time, it open up. You learn a lot from them, from the new gen. That you can get all those cool initiative or things that you never thought of. So I think that's a cool thing about having that diversity in terms of generations.
Okay, got it. So because when I again refer back to my experience with Nielsen, when I joined the company, we meet lots of people in the same age, and we become like lifelong friends, like Shinta and I. So I think NIELSENIQ would be a good start for anyone who like to do data analysis and want to make impact with your analysis and impact on the business of your client. That would be a good start.
For sure, I second to that because of what I mentioned, that we have a variety of solutions and capabilities. So I think you can learn a lot from, apart from your life at the university, that is the career. So I think you can learn a lot. Just be open at that point in time.
So, and then I would like to go back to Kun Shinta. I think the third section of our discussion will shed some light to many of our audience who don't know what is the working world look like in market, let's say what market research industry. So would you be able to tell us your career story at Nielsen? I understand that this is the only company that you have been working since your graduations, right? At the beginning, we met since you were like a retailer executive, like the junior executive. And with your capability, you grow and grow along the year and become the country leads of NIELSENIQ Thailand. Can you tell the audience about the journey that you see along the way?
Okay, for sure. I'd love to share. Like what you mentioned, I started off at a very entry level. NIELSENIQ was my first job after graduation, after I got my master's degree. So I started off as junior retailer service executive. And then I think we learned a lot. I learned a lot because it's the first time that I actually in the working environment. So there's a lot to learn, right? And then I was there for about 4 years. And then because Nielsen got global footprint, I got a privilege and opportunity to be relocated to NIELSENIQ Malaysia. Right? So I think that's the cool thing about working with a global company, that you get those international exposure when the time is right, when you are also ready. That's where you can just sign up for it. You can raise your hand, or even you can be spotted in that sense. So back to my journey. So after 4 years here with NIELSENIQ Thailand, I got an opportunity to be moving to NIELSENIQ Malaysia. I did my term for about 2 years. Right? So it was a new environment, also similar kind of work, but you met different groups of clients, group of peers, team, supervisor, and everything. So it's a whole new perspective. Then after that, I got an opportunity, asked to come back to join NIELSENIQ Thailand. So I've been there ever since. So I think these are the journey that I could share, that it's not just about you can develop yourself as individual, but it's also help you grow, open your perspective. I think it's about, hard skills, soft skills that are required for you to become successful in your career. But at the same time, it helps you develop yourself or grow even better, to be a better person as a personal of each individual. So I think that's the beauty of it. Along the year, I think we wouldn't count the years, but throughout this entire journey, I think we see a lot of, commonalities, a lot of diversity throughout whatever name that we used to be. I think I was started off since like AC Nielsen, that was the name, but throughout merger and acquisition, it became the Nielsen company, and now NIELSENIQ, right? So I think the culture of the elements, the assets about value and the behavior, you can see it quite consistent around the globe. But how you embrace all those change and actually make it your own trait and behavior, what you want to be known for, I think that's the key. And that's the opportunity that NIELSENIQ can give you.
When we look at our friends around us, not many people stick with one company for such a long time. What are the key reasons that make you stay with Nielsen up until now? You can take top 3.
Well, first of all, it's the international exposure, right? The fact that you will get to work with people from the other side of the world, get to learn from their culture, get to learn from their experience, their thinking, their mindset. So I think that's the beauty of global footprint. Second, because we provide the full view, as the video that we showed earlier, we have a variety of solutions that we provide to the client. And through our merger and acquisition, we have new initiatives
New
along the year.
technology.
New technology, new initiative, new solutions. So this will keep yourself, learn, relearn all the time. So I think that's the beauty of it. And of course, the culture. I think the third one is more about the diversity, the culture internally within the organization that I think is still make it very sticky, make it very, warm in the organization. Like we feel like even though we're just one associate, but we feel like our voice heard in that sense, even though we're like 30,000 employees globally, but we feel like even though we're just one, but our voice can be heard. Yeah.
With such a great company to work with. Then the next question will go to Harris. Then can you tell our audience the career opportunity that we have at Nielsen IQ at the moment?
Sure. So as a global company, actually we have many positions across the business. For example, we have a sales position for retail business. We have customer success who do the delivery or the support to the business itself, right? On top of that, we also have the positions for our support function like HR, and also like legal, IT, and so on, right? So at this point of time, what I wanted to also to use the opportunity to actually to really encourage the audience here who actually is still looking for job, the fresh graduate outsider. We have few open position in Thailand currently, right? First is for the executive trainee, we call. This is especially this position for fresh graduate, So if you're fresh graduate, feel free to apply for this one. And we are welcome for any major. There is no specific major, whether you are tech from the technique or whether you are from IT or from business, you can apply for this role, right? This is very good starting point if you are wanted to have the career grow in the market research industry, right? And I also, would like to promote. I have one opening at this point of time. Is the HR operation executive. So what we call for those who have who wants to have the career in HR, just go to our website and then click apply on that part, or you can go to BrighterBee website as well, right? And definitely, for example, in mid-level, we also have in manager level, right? Currently, I think you were in the retailer business back then, right? So we have the opening now is in the manager level for the retailer customer success. And then on top of that, we have many more open positions, basically, Kuntoy, especially in the high level. For example, we have director opening in the basis organizations, right? And then if you wanted to really explore other opportunities outside Thailand, it's also okay, right? Because it's simply you just go to our Nielsen website, click into the career page, and then you can filter any position that you think that you will be fit with the role.
For example, for the first job you mentioned here, executive trainee, could you tell us more the role and responsibilities of these job positions and also the expected qualities or skill or capability that you need from the candidates for this job, the first one?
Okay, so basically this is the entry level role, right? So we will expect the candidate for this role will be able to actually to understand what is the market research about, and then during the program they will be assigned to one of the business unit that are available. For example, we have consumer insight business unit, we have a retailer business unit, we have operations, right? So they will be assigned into that business unit to really learn about the market research, to really learn in terms of using the skill of Microsoft Excel, using the skill for example coding, right? using the skill in terms of making a slide, making a report for our client, right? So again, this is the executive trainee. This is very good program that and position that we really encourage our fresh graduates, especially in Thailand, to what we call to apply for these positions, right? Because this position is really the starting point for you if you want to have a career in market research industry.
And I think it's open for everyone, right? I think what we're looking for in terms of the candidates itself, I think they just have to be open and committed. Committed in the sense that committed to new learning, new environment, new exposure, and committed to develop themselves and learn. Because this is like a very cool position as well, that you get to really have a hands-on experience in different business units in NIELSENIQ.
When you talk about business unit that you have, can you elaborate a little bit more the difference between like customer research or retail measurement service?
Okay.
Yeah, so that audience may not know what are they like.
Sure. Okay, so when we're talking about business unit, it could be in differentiated in terms of the data or the insight that we provide. First, we have consumer insights, like what Harris mentioned. So this is pretty much about learning about consumer behavior, consumer attitude, their preference.
Right.
So these are more like those interview survey that you're probably familiar with most of the time. So that's one BU. We also have the retail intelligence, another BU, which is all about, like what I mentioned, we can answer what your market share is, what's your sales or category growth is like. All these type of things that will be retail intelligence business unit. We also have bases. So these are evolved around innovation. When the clients would like to launch a certain product, they want to know what sort of concept that works and what would be my ROI if I stick to this plan. So bases can help our clients answer that, address that, and giving some benchmarking or statistics to support that too. So these are in general the three big ones, but actually under each we have extensive solutions to call it, or products or services that you can name it.
Can I say that those perfect candidates or the trainee job would be the one who had like analytical thinking, because they have to work a lot with the data, right? And also they have to have a structural thinking, because since we have lots of data, you have to structure and divide it into and make sense of it. And the last one I hear a little bit from Harris, because we have to present a lot to the client. So the other skill that you need to have is the presentation skill and communication skill. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, we have like client-facing role, so definitely communication to the client, that would be key. Communication skill is key. But although when we're talking about the business unit or functions that are not client-facing, we still require communication skill internally, because you have to communicate across teams, as individual or as a team, something like that. So I think communication is definitely there. Analytical skill, to your point, I think just fair analytical skill. But what we want to encourage the candidate or our associate to do is just start questioning a lot, right? Have doubt all the time.
I call it like eight skill. Like if you see that trend of data, is that correct?
Correct.
Right.
So that's kind of, I wouldn't put it as an analytical skill per se, because that is trainable. Right? We're here to train you to be a good analyst as well. But at the same time, that kind of like a soft skill or behavior of all the time, or start questioning all the time. I think that's what we're looking for. I think throughout your career, either with NIELSENIQ or anywhere else, I think that's a good asset to have.
Okay. Okay, got it. So I think that's all the questions I have. In case you want to add anything to the point that we discussed.
Yeah, I think one thing, right? Just one comment from me. I think working in market research company, especially NIELSENIQ, is really not just about having a good career, but you're also creating the impact to the market, right? You know what people buy, you know what people actually want it to be, right? Because we provide the full view, right? So it's more into, you will feel that, okay, I contribute to actually what the world want to be, right? Because we do the research, right? So I think that's another proud, I think, in my view, by working in the market research like NIELSENIQ.
Okay. The next sessions, I think we will open to some questions that we have from the audience. And before the audience, may I ask a few questions as well for the audience themselves? Like, since we talk in English, some candidates may not be proficient in English. Is that would that be a problem working with Nielsen?
Not really. At some point, I think these things are a skill that you have. It would be good if you have, because most of the material will be in English. However, majority, 90% of our associates are Thai, right? And the way of working, you're interacting in Thai across teams anyway. I think it's not going to be a big problem, even though your English are not proficient, I would say.
Okay. And the next questions, while we're waiting for the audience questions, in terms of learning and development, would you be able to share the audience what kind of learning and development support that normally NIELSENIQ provide to the employee?
Yes, when the employee join, right, we already have the list of the learning and development program for them, right? Either it will be provided through the coaching or mentoring by the manager, but also, with the structured program, in-class program, or online program, right? We have one global learning access website where our employee can go there anywhere, anytime. Where we want our employee also to take initiative in terms of their self-development. So we actually provide huge learning resources. For example, we provide our employee with LinkedIn learning access, right? So there's a full of learning program there. Whether you want to enroll one program, self-development, you want to learn more about AI, for example, right? So actually, the opportunity is there, the program is there, right? So that's actually the learning of development program. On top of that, we also have the global and regional talent development program. This program design is for our talent who actually aspire to lead a bigger role, for example, right? Who actually also wanted to take more responsibility, right? So we actually have the talent development program. For example, for mid level, we have GEM talent program, right? This program is actually for our talent across Asia, right? So in the 9 month of period, they will be learning together with their colleagues from across countries, and the benefit of that also, it's also to create the network, right? They can make a new friends also from another countries as well, right? And then we also have special program. We call it Women in Leadership Program. This is literally for our women in NIELSENIQ, So where we provide, how actually being a woman in leadership positions. So this kind of program is very specific for our associate or for our employee.
So if you are not graduate from like marketing majors or business majors, don't worry about that. We are welcome to join, and we will train you to be able to work in this industry.
Throughout my journey, I used to come across fresh grads from psychology, literature.
Oh, literature, right.
So that's not an issue at all. All we need is, a commitment, a mindset, willing to learn, and pick it up. I think it's fine.
I remember when I first joined Nielsen, we have a training, right? And then we even go into the field, like to do some field work, so that we really know how we collect data to do all those analysis for the client. So if you are not business major, marketing major, that's fine. Welcome to NIELSENIQ, and we will train you to know everything about the business. Okay. And how about the career? I would like to ask the questions because I would like the audience to see the pictures. If you are like the junior executive who joined the company, let's say in the retail measurement services business unit, what will their life be like day to day? What do they do?
If they're client-facing role within retail intelligence business unit, definitely you will be given a full range of data that you will have to analyze. You have to make sense of all of those data, being the sales data, value, volume, growth, market share, distribution, pricing analysis, all those kind of things that you have to get yourself familiar with, right? Because you will have to position yourself in a way that if you are to help the client run the business, what sort of business question that the client might have, because in case the client wouldn't tell, but you should be able to have that at the back of your head, your egg skill, what would be a sensible business question? And then what should be the hypothesis that you should prove in order to derive or address those questions? By now, you pull up your sleeve and really get into the data and just analyze it in a different way. Of course, we have trainings, a series of training in different analysis. Like, for example, you can analyze about the product, 4 Ps. If you're in the marketing field, 4 Ps, product, price, place, and promotion. Those are the area that you can analyze from the data that we have, because we collect the data, we process the data. So after you have your hypothesis proven, you do the presentation in order to present this kind of analysis and insight to your client, right? So that's a presentation skill, trainable, but yeah, that's will be something that you will have to do if you're the client-facing role. At the end of the day, after you prepare the presentation, you deliver that in front of the audience, right? It could be a C-level audience that you have to present and make sure that your analysis, walk them through your analysis and finding and provide recommendations. So these are pretty much day-to-day in terms of the work-wise. Day-to-day in terms of the internal working environment, I think you will have your PP, your senior, your supervisor to coach you along the way. On-the-job training is there. They will also help review your analysis and prove whether or not your hypothesis and analysis are sound. So I think these are along the journey that you can expect in a day-to-day working environment at NIELSENIQ.
You mentioned a bit about the counterparty on the client side, like C-level executive. Apart from C-level, who are the counterparty that the executive like this will meet on?
C-level, CEO, CFO, managing director. That's the C-level I'm talking about. They will also have a chance to interact with the marketing team, right? Who actually talk about the product, communicating to the product, the branding itself. They will also be presenting or interacting with the sales or trade marketing team, right? And last but not least will be the CMI, the insight manager of insight team, right? Who also very savvy in terms of the data. They do a lot of market research. So this is kind of like your key counterpart.
This question, I try to lead to these questions because I like to tell the audience as well that another good things that if you work with NIELSENIQ is I think it is a good stepping stone for you if you want to grow your career in like consumer package goods industry. As you can see, the counterparty is marketing, is sales, is the inside people. So you get a chance to have a firm foundations about how to analyze data, how to do market research, and then you can go work on those global leading CPG company. I see lots of ex-NIELSEN doing that. So this is another good thing while you work with NIELSEN.
Correct. Yeah, it's the exposure that you get, right? Because now you get to work with different parties, with different teams, with different KPIs. That's where you will then later on at the later stage identify whether or not that's your passion. So that's where the opportunity comes. But of course, we want to keep our associate as long as we can with NIELSENIQ for sure. But I think the benefit out of that is the exposure to different audiences.
Right. And another thing is once you become like the junior executive, what is the career path that you can get within NIQ?
Yeah, so in the general level, right, our starting entry level is in the executive level.
Right.
And then again, if the performance is okay, excellent, then this person will be promoted to the senior executive level, right? And then after that, it will follow automatically, right? Depends on the performance itself. After that, with manager, senior manager, associate director, right? So those are actually our level in terms of positioning, right? But again, it really depends, in terms of how the performance of our employee itself, and also if you see from the vertical position, yes, that will be the what we call like the opportunity for you. You will be a director, for example, right? But on top of that, right, you also need to see from another angle, which is the horizontal move, right? The exposure, as Cinta mentioned earlier, right, which is, for example, you have the opportunity to relocate to Korea, to Indonesia, for example, right? Also, perhaps you will be responsible for the same kind of job, but you will get the opportunity to expand your horizon in a sense, right? So vertically, yes, we do have our position, job level, and so on, but we also encourage our associate and provide the opportunity to see from the horizontal angle as well.
When you mention horizontal move, it's not just from one country to another. I noticed in the past that from business unit to business
Exactly.
unit as well. For example, I saw like senior client-facing people move to lead production team who taking care of collecting data in the retail intelligence business unit. Those kind of move can happen as well.
Yes.
Or even move from customize to
Yep.
retail
Retail,
intelligence.
yes.
That is an opportunity as well.
For sure.
Okay. And another question for I don't know which one will address this one. In terms of employee well-being, what are the support that the company has for the employee? Would you be able to shed some light on that?
So I think in terms of the well-being, again, this become our priority as the company in whole, right? So for example, if 2 years ago with COVID happened, we need to close the office, and then we actually keep checking of our employee whenever they work, whether they're okay or not, right? In terms of the well-being itself, for example, we provide now the flexibility in terms of the insurance as well, so they can actually, if there is a necessary for them to actually to visit a doctor, a psychiatrist, or so on, they actually can be part of the insurance coverage that we cover, right? On top of that, we also provide with multiple event or talking that focus into the well-being as the topic, even in the global level, also in the local level in Thailand as well, right? So one thing that I really proud is, we have happiness team in the team now, in the NIQ Thailand, right? So this team actually really provide, like the aim is just to make sure that our employee happy with NIELSENIQ, right? So we provide with the some of the cool event. We provide also, make sure that they are coming to the office and do some fun event together. For example, last time I think we had a Songkran event together, right? So we had fun just to make sure that just get away a little bit from work and then do some fun activities a little bit.
So that is another good thing that I hear from you
Yes.
guys as well, because I understand that the industry itself, like market research, CPG, consumer packaged goods business, they are very stressful in like
It could be overwhelming.
right, with lots of data and everything. But when we work with NIELSENIQ, there is a mix of not only work part, but also pleasure parts as well, that you make it fun to work hard and play hard. Okay, I think that's all the questions I have for today. Thank you so much for both of you who come and join us today for the live learning experience with BrighterBee and NIELSENIQ. And then for the next part, I like to, apart from thanking you as well, I would like to mention that from the beginning, we have discovered so many interesting things about NIELSENIQ Thailand. And I think I'm really interested if you are interested to grow your career with NIELSENIQ, like Kun Harris mentioned, you can go to Nielsen website in the career sections. There are lots of, in terms of the job opening that you can explore. For example, the trainee position as you mentioned earlier, and also the HR operation, HR operation position as well. You can go there, as you can see on the screen right now. Check it out, and then if you are interested, just applying, and you will get a chance to be with a company like the global company like NIELSENIQ. So and for now, it's come to an end of the event today. BrighterBee team would like to thank Kun Chin Tan, Kun Harris again for joining us today. And then for those who missed this event, you can join us on the channel that we have available, like on YouTube channel. You can rewatch the event today. And then before leaving, I'd like to ask everyone who joined the event today to provide us some feedback. We will show you the QR code, and then you can scan that QR code and then provide your feedback so that we can improve in the next event that we have. So for now, BrighterBee team and I will have to say goodbye for now, and see you next time for the Live Learning X Career event next time. Thank you so much. ค่ะ
ค่ะ